music is all over this piece and it's so intrinsic. Was this an especially musical set?
Tessa was the DJ in the hair and makeup trailer.
I was the DJ, but occasionally I would turn down the music so that we could listen to Nnamdi. He didn't realize that we could hear him practicing his sax outside. So, unbeknownst to him, he was also one of our favorite musical acts.
Have you been spending this year entertaining your family at home with your sax skills, or have you let those wane?
I mean, since we finished shooting, I don't think I played. But before we started shooting, I think everyone was annoyed with my saxophone playing. It helped with the film, I'd say that.
So the film we're talking about today is Sylvie Love. This is a beautiful, old-fashioned romance. I want to get our bearings. Let's talk what we love about classic romances. Guys, tell me, what makes a great movie romance? What are the elements it needs?
Well, it depends. I really like the brand of romance where they dislike each other in the beginning. Like, one of my favorite sprawling love stories is probably When Harry Met Sally. You need some sort of tension. You need like an outlet for them to express their sexual tension. I like the idea of like a good star-crossed lover situation, which Nnamdi and I kind of have in Sylvie's Love.
You need some obstacles in there to make it worth something.
Yeah. The course of true love never did run smooth. Like, you have to have some, I think that's Shakespeare, thank you. You need some obstacle.
Here's a big question. Do you like a romance to end well? Because some of the classics, they don't end up together. There's that tragedy.
I like when there's a little, you don't know if they got together at the end. And we were actually thinking about that as far as I remember when we were shooting the very last scene. And I think up until the first take, we were trying to figure out, should we make this clear to the audience or not? But yeah, I like when it's a little more ambivalent.
Because I think of the ones that stand the test of time. And I know you guys have name checked The Notebook, for instance, which I feel like in the last 30 years is like the one on Mount Olympus, right, of romances. What about that one works? Why do you think that one's the one that all movie romances are aspiring to now? I
don't know. I think there's this idea of, young love and love that feels transformative, love that makes each of the lovers a better version of themselves at the other end of it. I think that's something that always feels aspirational, that you can find someone that, brings out the best in you. And also, not for nothing, not that this is necessary for a good romance, but those two got together and were together for a while. So there was like a real crackling chemistry. You were getting to witness two people. I've probably really fallen in love on screen. And that's something that I think, for whatever reason, we like to watch as humans. Like, voyeuristically, we love the idea of getting to see that. So that one has that going for it. But I don't think that's necessary. You can still make a crackling love story and be platonic friends like Nnamdi and I.
On a serious note, I think the really meaningful things about a film like this is about young people, I think, seeing themselves included in a story like this, right? This is an archetypal classic kind of piece of movie making. And I had the same kind of conversation recently about the film Happiest Season, right? That's like a classic, like, holiday rom-com that has been the domain of straight people for decades. And finally now there's a little bit more inclusion in there, and it's revolutionary because of that. Similarly, in your film, which is this classic movie romance, we're not used to seeing people of color in the center of the frame. Did that feel revolutionary on set, that simple shift? Did that feel like, oh wow, this is actually meaningful?
I think sometimes, you can present something in ways that are not necessarily, that are apolitical, and they are political. And I think certainly for me, a big reason why I wanted to make this film is I remember watching The Notebook, and thinking it must be so fun to play in frames like that, and I will probably never have the opportunity to do that. I think getting to, present something inside of a formula that has typically made us invisible, in the same way that with Happiest Season, you get to give this star treatment to queer characters, and meanwhile don't change anything about the formula. I think you invite everyone into that experience, because sometimes what happens if you're on the margins is there's this idea that your stories are niche, that they only are for your community. And of course, I think Nnamdi and I and Eugene and all the filmmakers, we feel a great pleasure with getting to make a piece of work that feels like a love letter to Black people. And also we think it's something that can be enjoyed by all people, because it's a story about love, which is fundamental and just human. And so I think there's a way of diminishing us folks that exist on the margins by not allowing us to play inside of these formulas. And so I think that was something that felt really impactful for us, and was certainly a big reason why I wanted to make this film.
It was one of the reasons why it was so tough to make this film, because everyone we went to for it, to help finance it or to help make it, they would say, I don't know where the audience is for this film. It's a period film with with two Black leads about love. It's during the Civil Rights era. And so I just don't think people had sort of a metric for how it could turn out, or how it might look. So it was very tough. But I think that also was something that sort of propelled us forward to saying that we had to be able to show ourselves in this light.
You're both not only the stars of this film, you're both producers on this film. Talk to me about what that's about. Is that about protecting the material, protecting yourself, just putting out stories out into the universe that you feel are worth telling? Why is it important to produce right now for you guys? Probably
for a lot of similar reasons, and also for different reasons. For me, I've been working inside of this industry for over a decade. It's, sometimes it's as easy as an actor to feel like a cog in something moving. And so I was really, in the last handful of years, it's been more important for me to feel more instrumental from building the thing from the ground up. And it's always been an aspiration of mine to produce. That's something that I've been focusing on a lot. And then I also think that, necessity is the mother of invention. There's this idea that if you don't make these stories by hook or by crook, they won't exist. And this is a kind of story that I have been wanting to see in the popular culture space for a long time. And so when the opportunity came my way via Nnamdi, who I knew was going to produce and thought was so wildly talented, it felt like if we don't try to make this, it might not happen.
Yeah, it's filling a void. You see a lot of films, and a lot of those stories, you don't see people that look like us in those roles. And so anytime that you get the opportunity to do that and sort of open that door for more of those stories to come through, you jump all over it. And that was the first thing for me when I read the script. I just knew I hadn't seen it before. And I knew that, like Tessa said, if we weren't the ones to get it through, it was going to go through a lot more no's. And I don't know if anyone would have kept going, to make it. I consider you both, and I'm sure you consider yourselves, activists. And this has been this past year has been a year to speak up and speak out, certainly. When you look back at 2020, what are the positives to take away? What are the shifts, the stuff you're going to cling to as something good came out of a lot of tough moments?
Something that has been a real bright spot for me has been, I'm very lucky in the sense that my family is here in Los Angeles. And I think this has been a time of real radicalization. It's been a gift to get to take to the streets and protest with my little brother, who is 22, and being able to understand how you communicate the power of the streets and then take it to the ballot box. So on the same streets that we were protesting here in Los Angeles, we then also dropped our ballot off together. And so I think the ability to be able to find community, to understand the ways in which, and this has been something that I admire in both, in Nnamdi and his family, of really getting out there and being civically engaged and trying to help people understand how to do that and normalize those conversations. And I think that has been something that is really tremendous, particularly with this generation, which my brother is a member of. Like, they are really, I feel ancient saying this, but the future and the present, in the sense that they're understanding how to really dismantle systems that have long needed to be dismantled. And so to me, that's been a real bright spot this year. And the work doesn't end, it continues. But I think hopefully there is more, I don't know, in just engagement as a collective, that we can find ways to connect just as we are doing now, right? And have conversations that are vitally important. I think our future depends on it. So that is something that has given me hope in moments, for sure.
I love when Tessa tries to act like she's an old lady.
We have a long way to go on Thor, Love and Thunder. Have you started on it yet, Tessa?
Yeah, I've started. It's really, really, really fun. It's very, 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 very good. I'm really excited. I fly to Australia in a couple weeks, and folks are already there and on the ground. I get very funny videos from Taika and photographs updating me. But it's a great script. It's going to be really fun. It's very fun in the music department. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm thrilled.
And is Valkyrie going to find love? Is there more thunder or love for Valkyrie in this one?
There's both. They're not mutually exclusive. You can.
Okay.
She likes a kind of thunderous love.
The most important substantive question, of course, is Michael B. Jordan is the sexiest man alive, Tessa. How quickly after you heard the news, did you text him? Did you call him? Did you give him crap? Have you talked to him about it?
I haven't talked to him about it because I'm going to pretend it hasn't happened. I don't want, we're going to make another Creed very soon, and I don't need the sexiest man alive to, you know what I mean? I just don't need it. I don't need any of it.
It's a lot.
It's too much for me to shoulder. It's too much for me to handle. I'm proud of him. I'm so happy for him, and I will give him a lot of crap about it in person. I cannot wait. That's actually, you reminding me. It's good. I need to start developing like pranks around.
Oh, yeah. You need material.
Currently, material, a type 5 that can introduce. Yeah. I'm happy for him. I'm very proud of him.
Is he directing the next Creed? That's the word on the street.
He is directing the next Creed, which is it. So it's going to be ammo, I think, for me when he is engaging with me as a director. I'm just going to tell him to dial down the sexiness. But we're not going to make it until later in the year, so. There will be.
Who knows what could happen? Yeah.
Who knows what happens? Another man will be. I don't know if he'll still be the sexiest man alive in 6 months. It could be Nnamdi.
I was going to say, Nnamdi, start the campaign now.
I'm actually going to be in the next Creed.
Wait.
No, I'm just kidding.
I saw Tessa's face too.
I believe
want to see your reaction.
But actually, Nnamdi, you could probably be in the next Creed. You should.
I'll be his brother.
You should actually start that campaign. I know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.